All right. Got sort of a new setup. I got better lighting. I even got a just a tripod for the phone, and I'm really excited. So, this recording is going to talk about my experience with MBTI and me as an INFJ. NIFETISE. The cognitive functions, the way it has affected my life for better and worse. And honestly, just the whole shebang. The reason why I picked MBTI and just me as an INFJ, I find value in it and I want to talk about it is because perhaps it's just a little bit of sentimental value. This was basically my first concept of like self-understanding, really. Like the first personality model that I had to make sense of myself and honestly just a way to classify other people, not to put them in boxes, but to help understand them. And that's really important because understanding how people perceive things, understanding how people work, if you want to treat them as like machines, like something out of engineering, then for me, MBTI was definitely the starting point. So, gosh, what should I even talk about first? I mean, being an INFJ was just learning about it is very, very overall illuminating, if that's the right term. I had to first go to the 16personalities.com website when I heard about the concept from a career book. It was just about what career you should be based on the MBTI model. And eventually I found, first of all, I found INFP. And for a second, I really related to that. So I was just very curious and I was very excited just because understanding myself has always been such a huge problem for me. It's been something that I've taken time to try to outline for myself, whether it be just through personality models or taking a strengths test like Clifton Strengths and discovering unique psychological traits and phenomena for me. And when I took 16personalities.com and I got the INFJ, that resonated with me even more than being an INFP. So I looked more into it. I looked into YouTube channels and other sources to discover more because, gosh, the way that the 16personalities.com advocate, which is the title for the INFJ, described him or her as, was very freeing, knowing that I wasn't really alone in the way of being forever like misunderstood, being not having any model to temporarily put myself in, to understand where my strengths lie and where my weaknesses are, and the way that my life is. My lips are chapped, I'm sorry. So, I honestly just started watching for a time, like for like a few months, just basked in the INFJ label. I watched edits, I've watched like tributes on YouTube, and I was like, oh my gosh, No wonder I've really resonated with some of these characters and some characters that I've never seen before. As soon as I learned they were an INFJ, the way they talked, the way they behaved, the way that I felt about them, the energies they gave off, just as the characteristics that the actors and actresses uh, acted, if that is the best way I can put it. That's what I basked in. I really enjoyed that. It was a home. It was a home for myself, and it was a home for just this part of me. Eventually, I found just books about MBTI, and when I learned about cognitive functions, my favorite book was probably, I think it's My Type, Your Type. Uh, there's a book by AJ Drenth that I really liked. And I just started just learning, seeing how the cognitive functions like introverted intuition, which is NI, extrovert, extrovert feeling, and FE, and all the way down to the inferior SE and the shadow functions that you can learn about regarding the MBTI model. I learned stuff about that, and I was hooked because finally I could understand the way I could perceive things, and if I can understand something, if I'm aware of it, I can I can use it to my advantage. I'm not a victim to it. I'm not supplicating to the just the phenomena, like the patterns that I've had throughout my entire life. And I wasn't going to be just a victim to it, honestly. I've had a lot of, I think what's considered safe to say, NIFE moments where you have this vision of how things are. It's not even just a future vision, it's just a beautifully constructed concept. It could be an image, it could be a feeling, it could be just an experience. And then it's emotional for you. FE is so much more than just being socially fluent or having tact or even just simple empathy. For me, it's the way that I relate to the entire world. I have the inner world I have, it's NI, but then everything else that I've come to realize actually very recently is that so much of my life is just filled with FE, as much as I try to deny it, as much as I fear it, because for so long all it's been is FE was synonymous with just losing your sense of self, not having boundaries, just almost being less of a person in a really messed up way, because it sounds like you don't really like stand for anything, that you just lack the capability. That's why I always feared. But it's not true. For any INFJs who are watching this, I speak on firsthand experience as honestly just someone who has been through stereotypical INFJ moments, whether it be people you see that are INFJs in real life or even just fictional ones, that you could sort of pick out the cognitive functions and the way they interact in scenes or in any other manner. It is absolutely not that, I promise you, and you don't have to be afraid of FE. You just need to understand how it works to its full extent. And unfortunately, from all the definitions I read for FE, as much as I have looked hard all over the internet, in books, in sources, and forums, and at least a lot of INFJ YouTubers, they, in my opinion, haven't encapsulated everything that is FE in relationship with me. FE is, honestly, it feels more SE than my personal inferior SE. Because I can take action, I have sensations traditional to perhaps SE and what people think of it. FE is what I really see everywhere. I feel like energies, I feel vibes, I feel just profound phenomena translated and articulated through FE, not just in a tactful way to myself, but in a way that resonates with me, that is unspoken with basically any sort of language, especially like spoken or written language with letters and words. And I just, as I've cultivated more FE, as I've understood where the entire system of FE in relationship with me, my unique experience with it, I feel so empowered that I understand that my model of how FE is and what FE is and how I've used it just throughout my entire life until till recently has just been used the incorrect way. It's not that the tool of FE, the phenomena of FE, is broken with me. It's just I've been using it wrong, just through misunderstanding. And now, as even as I create videos like this, as my understanding of FE gets well refined and I become more masterful with it, I become more skilled with it, I feel myself growing so much, especially just my well being and my own fulfillment and happiness. And that's one of the best things that I get to experience, true mastery over a part of my life, which is just my life, my entire life, really. The only thing that I guess could be comparing to that regarding just the MBTI uh, function, excuse me. I was going to say NI muscle, but I have to work that muscle as well. I still have a lot to growth, a lot to grow with regarding NI, but barring that, just FE is something that I am so excited to grow even more with it. Me as myself and just the muscles I have to work for me to use FI to its oh my gosh, FI FE to my full capacity. So, I guess this can be considered sort of an introduction to, well, me talking about my experience as an INFJ and possible insights that I can give fellow MBTI enthusiasts and other INFJs or anybody else curious about INFJs. I'm very excited to, well, just talk about it. More content will include probably just more in-depth, just personal inquiries and investigations for each cognitive function so that whether you're an INFJ or an INTP, INTJ, ENFJ, any sort of really MBTI type who wants to understand themselves so that they can grow working with their personality type instead of against it. I'm very happy to help grow along with you and to throw my hat in regarding it. So that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.